Hi, it's Dee Dee. So I'm looking further into this whole case of the Mica Miller, so-called suicide, possible offing situation. There was so much more to this story. There was so much in the past of this Miller family. I don't know who did what exactly, but there are stories of one of the guys running over a woman in a car, the other guy hitting a woman over the head with a glass bottle and smashing her computer. The father himself has a shady past of trying to get cheap labor going on in some form, making people work for very little money. I don't know in what capacity. And of course, every time somebody was accused, the other one, whether it was the father or the grandfather, would run to their rescue and petition the court about why they're innocent or they can't help it because they have problems with this, that, or the other, and just never taking accountability is my point, which I think we're seeing right now in this case with Mica Miller and J.P. Miller. And of course, using the fact that they're good Christian people, they have a church and they're a pastor and they're a good leader and all this BS, calling it like it is. Sad that we do this supposedly in the name of God. Not we, but they. One of them, I don't know. Okay, so JP, Mr. Upstanding Pastor, had his wife engaging in situations with other people, we will just say, because you know I like to keep it pretty clean on my channel, but forced his wife, Mica, to engage in things she would not want to be part of. This is a pastor, so-called pastor, to the point where she said, if I am pregnant, the baby's probably going to be black. Now, no shade on black people or Indian people or any race. The point is, they were engaging with another person who was a black person against her will. She was forced to do a lot of things against her will, apparently, behind closed doors. People believe she was groomed from the time she was 14. JP had his sights on her. She was actually, as she got older, she married a different person, and he was married to a different person. He was married to Miss Skinner, I believe was her last name. No, he wasn't. I'm sorry. Miss Skinner was married to somebody else, and Mica was married to somebody else. So, somewhere along the line, JP decides to set his sights on Mica, and he divorces his wife, and she divorces her husband. Now, interesting, and they're still probably, I don't know if they're investigating this still, but it is known that at some point, Mrs. Skinner, I guess, his husband, ended up in a wheelchair from some kind of, I guess, accident or something. And he supposedly, allegedly, got too close to the edge of a pool and drowned. Just too much fishiness in this whole entire story from point one. So Skinner's husband drowns, and JP and Mica hook up, and I believe, yeah, Mica divorces her husband. JP divorces his wife, or his first wife, the wife of his 4 children, and marries Mica. But the lady whose husband died, that is the lady that apparently JP has reached out to very shortly after Mica's death. So there's something fishy going on behind the scenes there. All right, and I'll post I'll post more, links to other videos so you can make sense of what I'm saying, because I don't always get my facts very clear. I do the best I can. It's more I want to give my emotional feelings on things and just my input on things. I don't always get dates and facts straight because I'm not good at that. I admit that's a flaw I have. But you can watch any podcast right now or any video. They will tell you all the details in order and with, the right people and everything. But the point was, Mica was married to somebody else. JP was married to somebody else. He decides he wants Mica. He wanted her, I guess, from the time she was 14 and he was 30. So eventually she divorces her husband. He divorces his wife. And JP and Mica get married. And then all the shady garbage that happened to poor Mica behind the scenes happened during that marriage. All the while posing in pictures, smiling and acting like they were so in love. And apparently at one point JP took some pictures of Mica in compromising poses or something like that, and decided when he got mad at her to post them on the internet, and then admitted that it was evil that he did that. But she made him do that because of how she made him so mad. Let me tell you something. I don't care how mad you get. Nobody makes you do evil things. That's a choice. You choose how you react when someone makes you mad. As you say, makes you mad. When someone does something and you get mad at it, you choose what you do from that point on. You don't have to go and post nude pictures of your wife or husband or whatever, or send people things about them. You don't have to do that. That's a choice. I just, people that don't take accountability for their actions just really get to me. Anyway, too much fishiness in this case, like so many cases that we've seen. Too much behind the scenes and in the background, illegal things went on. I think JP had like 37 traffic violations, something like that, along with who knows what else in his past. Just shady people, shady people that don't take accountability. There was one video I saw where apparently JP had followed Mica to, looked like a car shop or a gas station or something. And she's telling him, just go home, JP, go. And he's saying something about her, I don't know, threatening her or something as he walks away. And again, that post is out there. There's videos out there about Mica and JP all over the place. It just, okay, I guess what I think about the fact that this happened in a church is that people will then look at church as a bad thing, as, well, see, those people are a bunch of hypocrites. You can't trust church because look at the kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And that's true in a lot of cases. Not every case, but a lot of cases. Probably more than we know. And unfortunately, it happens in a church of all things. A church is supposed to be a place of holiness, to honor God and worship God and make friends. And but when people are not held accountable, and when people stay in abuse situations because they're scared, and people don't rescue them out of them. Because, okay, I know a lot of people will be like, well, everybody can't rescue everybody else. But if you're a church, in my opinion, and you know that somebody is abusing someone, you hold that person accountable, have them arrested, have them questioned, and you rescue the abuse victim. But I see no churches ever doing that. Never heard of that happening. I hear, oh, well, she or he was bullied to stay in the situation. People kind of thought something was going on, but nobody ever got involved. And I'll tell you why I say that. Now, mine was not a church situation, but mine was a situation of DV. And people would give me, opinions and ideas. And, well, I guess if I were you, I would do this. Some people said, well, what God has joined together, let no man separate. You got to stay with this person. Not one person said, hey, I'll take you in. Let's fight this thing together. Let's investigate this thing. Let's have this person go in for counseling and see, if there's something to this. Meanwhile, you come stay with me, or we'll get an order of protection. I'll help you get an order of protection so this person is made to leave the home and you can stay there and take care of your kids. No, not one person did that. I was completely on my own. That's not how a church, in my opinion, should be. If it's a true church of God, if it's a true family of God, that's when they should step in and say, whoa, this lady has been saying that this person has been doing this stuff all along. Maybe we should look into it. Maybe we should sit this person down and question them. Maybe we need to intervene here. No, churches don't do that. They talk a pretty talk. They just don't walk the walk. And now, a lot of you that don't understand the whole church dynamic might say, well, that's not the church's responsibility to intervene in your marriage. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. If you claim to be a church of God, a family of God, and you love people and you care about your congregation, definitely it's your job to step in and say, whoa, we need to talk to you, sir or ma'am. We hear from your wife or husband that this is going on. Is this true? And you need some help because we don't want anything bad happening. Tell us how we can help. That is the job of the church. The church needs to go back to the way it was in the book of Acts, in my opinion, where people actually cared about people, where they had all things common, where they cheered each other on, mourned with each other when they were mourning, rejoiced with each other when they were rejoicing, and stepped in and helped the people that were hurting within families or whatever. It's sad. It's not like that. That's not how the church is. The church is a business. It's run like a business. Everything seems to be run like a business these days. It's all about money, 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 not people's welfare, not people's safety. So I'm telling you this stuff in very out of order. I apologize for that. I'm not the best at this whole true crime thing, even though a lot of you come to me and say, you should do true crime. You really know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I just don't get the timeline right. I'm not good at that. So I really need to have a partner if I'm going to ever, be a true crime person in any way, shape, or form, because I'm too scatterbrained for getting everything right of who did what and when and all that. But my point is, stop staying silent. If you call yourself a godly person and you know somebody is being harmed, you need to do what you can to rally the troops, get that person questioned that's doing the alleged harm, and get that other person help to get out of there safely. Get them to safety. Don't just take them out of the home and leave them in the area. Ship them off somewhere if you have to. Move them in with relatives across state that the other person doesn't know about. Get them protected. I don't even know what that looks like. But I know there's got to be a way to protect people that are in harm's way. There's got to be some way. And the church needs to do more about it than sitting back on their laurels and making a pretty service for everybody to think everything's okay while chaos is breaking out behind the scenes and somebody turns up with their life ended. Just saying, that's my opinion on it. As a churchgoer, I can tell you churches that I've been to do not get involved with protecting people that are being abused. More often than not, they side with the abuser because maybe they're the one that gives the higher donation to the church. Or similar to the Mica Miller case, maybe they're a man versus a woman. There's a lot of misogyny in a lot of churches that I know about. There's also a lot of putting people in positions that they're not qualified for, and all heck breaking loose from that. So yeah, just some of my thoughts about the whole thing. There's more and more coming out about this Mica Miller case. There's so much involved here. of so much shady garbage in the past of these men in the Miller family that we don't even really know yet. I'm sure more and more will come out. More is coming out on different channels. You'll see lots of stuff being told that I don't even know about. Um, but yeah, I hope this isn't another situation like Nicole Kessinger where she's just like brushed off as possibility of having any involvement in the murder of the Watts kids. I hope this is not brushed under the rug, and it makes me wonder about these investigators. They rushed an autopsy with Mica real quick at the guys, not the guys, but the guidance of JP. He wanted her cremated like right away. Faster they cremate them, the faster they can remove evidence. Everybody knows that. Just, it's all shady, all of it. And, yeah, it's sad that people are getting away with stuff like this. Very sad. I mean, I would much rather talk about happier things, but beautiful Mica, she was so beautiful and so talented. Such a godly, joyful person to have had to go through that. I mean, I didn't know her personally, but just from what I know of what her friends have said about her online and stuff, and I've actually been in touch with somebody that knew her very personally. She was a very beautiful, wonderful, kind, godly woman. And she was letting people know very cryptically that she was going through abuse, that she was trapped, that she felt scared. There was only so much she could say because she knew JP was watching, you know. Um, It'll be interesting to see how this unfolds, and very tragic and sad at the same time. Rest in peace, Micah. So sorry that the church didn't do more for you, but I think most people know that the so-called church was actually a cult in many ways. Not that everybody in the church was not godly and holy and trying their best to honor God. I'm sure there was a lot of people there that had no clue what you were enduring and what went on with you and with others behind the scenes. There's just so much. Anyway, before I get too down in my day, because I do want to have some level of joy, I want to work on my puzzle today and maybe exercise a little bit, things like that. Um, I wanted to share a little bit more of what I know of details just in general. Sorry if the dates and the names and things got mixed up. Like I said, that's not my strength to know who did what. And feel free to correct me in the comments below to kind of set things straight of who did what, because I get them jumbled. I apologize for that. Um, but the fact is, shady garbage has gone on down through the years from the top man down. The apple did not fall far from the tree in any case. And sadly, somebody's life is gone now because of shady garbage. Well, a couple people's lives. Chris Skinner and Mica Miller mysteriously gone, and nobody knows why or how, except they have ruled Mica's case a case of suicide. However, people are saying who says that somebody didn't grab her hand and force the trigger. She had bruises on her hand. There were other evidences of like bullet hole in the tree and marks on her body that looked like defensive wounds, which was probably a reason why the autopsy was rushed by JP, allegedly. I mean, it was, but allegedly JP had some reason to rush the autopsy that I think was very sinister. These people need to stop getting away with this stuff, guys. They need to. Anyway, I sometimes wonder, other countries must look at our country and say, you guys wouldn't be dealing with all that if you just enforced the death penalty. If you just do away with these people. The problem is the false death penalty situations where the wrong people are, dealt with in that way and lose their lives. And it's hard to know sometimes. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a judge or a prosecutor. I can only give opinions, which is definitely the safer way to go about things. I don't know JP. I didn't know Micah. I only know what I'm hearing and I'm commenting on that. So take it for whatever it is. All right, y'all. It's very breezy out here. I'm enjoying it. It's about to rain very shortly, but I'm enjoying the nice, comfortable air. And it's been nice talking to you and sharing a little bit of my thoughts. Hopefully, they're not too confused and jumbled up. I just feel like I'm jumbling things. I don't know if I am or not. But like I said, if you have more of the details and can put them in order for me, do so in the comments below. I welcome that. And thank you for listening. I'll bring more on whatever case, I find interesting and needing comment in the future. You guys have a blessed day, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening.